Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a couple weeks since I've done one of these videos. Just wanted to touch base, do another grateful update. So sorry about the brightness. It's like really bright because the sun's actually out today. And yep, we have the heat on because it's like 30 degrees out, but at least the sun's out, and that's good. Um, Thankful for that. Thankful that as I look over here on the other screen, I see the forecast coming up, and tomorrow's supposed to be 42. And then Tuesday, 50. Wednesday, a little bit above 50. Like 70 on Thursday, 70 on Friday, 60 on Saturday, 60 on Sunday, 70 Monday. And then it's this way until basically it might get back below 50 in about a week and a half, maybe almost 2 weeks from now. But it's around 50, and it's supposed to be around 50 until possibly just after St. Patrick's Day, that's 2.5 weeks away. So probably going to change a lot between now and then. But definitely thankful for the immediately warm up. It's weird. We went from January where we're super cold, and then when we get to February, we get this change. We get this little small uptick in temperatures, and but we still wouldn't have those brutal temperatures. And I'm out of focus again. I don't know why. I'm trying to get myself back in. There we go. Um, don't know why we had the real change, but it's just when you get those warmer temperatures when it goes from 0 to 10 to 20 to 30. I mean, that might not sound like much if you've never lived in that, but it is. And now we're getting the next layer of that, where we're going apparently from hopefully 20s and 30s to 40s and 50s, maybe even 60s, maybe even 70s. And if we can get this stabilized in April, where we're 70 degrees, 65, 70 in April, then we could continue the trend, and we could just go up a little by little after that. That'd be really great. But I'm insanely thankful for that, because that's one of the things I've been praying for. Is I've been praying for life-giving warmth, life-giving sunshine, and life-giving rain. A lot of people, they just pray for rain. I pray for Lord. I pray for rain. I pray for war. I pray for warmth. I pray for sunshine. You have to be specific, and that's one thing I've been trying to do. I'm trying to remember when it was, but I don't know if it was a decade ago or something. When we were down at my mom's, and it was early in the year. I can't remember what year it was, but she was talking about being intentional in the way you speak. And that's something that's kind of flowed in and out of my mind. And I don't know why my mom was the one to give me that word, but she did. And it's just been in and around. And, as you're intentionally praying for life giving rain, descriptive, not just warmth, not just rain, but life giving rain, life giving warmth, life giving sunshine. Um, Sorry about that. Seth came in and he's like, if you have kids, you know how it is. I'm like, let's make a video. Then, sure enough. Anyway, yeah, you need to be descriptive about when you pray, because nothing I've been doing is, I'm talking about back to intentionality, talking about, how we always pray, God, can you do this? Can you heal this person? Can you And it's like, of course he can. He's God. And so what I've been doing is, God, will you do this? Will you do that? And if could just be my perception, but it feels like it's changed things. I feel like it's changed things at least a little bit. Maybe I'm not seeing the effect yet. But it's definitely something that I feel better about what I was doing previously, which was not basically anything. Another thing is, I don't know how much you frequent the YouTubes here, but I do because I have to stay up later than I would like for my gig that I have twice a week until I stay up later than I want to, but I usually finish whatever I'm doing by, depends on the night and how easy the kids are to get to bed. But some nights it's very fortunate and I'm done like 9:30, 10. Being that I started like, if I get to where I'm actually starting at 7, and then from there it's like the later in the night I'm able to start what I need to do to make my videos that I make every day. Then it's later on in the day when I get to have more time. And one of the things that I've been falling into is I've been like, I think it's probably, I don't know if it's Christmas of 23. Maybe I've talked about this before, but I discovered these people that travel professionally. And the two that I found, their names are Kara and Nate, and they're from Nashville, and they're Americans. And probably, like I said, I probably talked about this before, but I'm just going to reset it because it's worth resetting, I feel like. And they were doing a Christmas Village in Europe video. Would be Christmas 2023. I found them. And subsequently, I found, these other people, a Canadian couple, and then 3 or 4 Australian couples also. And they're all the same age. They're all roughly, it's not like they're definitely millennials, but they're generally in their 30s, maybe late 30s, mid 30s, somewhere in there. And if you listen to them long enough and you watch enough of them, now keep in mind, these are people that make probably videos every 2 or 3 weeks, and I've been watching them for 2 years. So, do the math. That's probably roughly 20, 30 videos a year, 35, maybe 40 videos a year that these people make, and I haven't watched all of them. But they all have sort of the same thing if you watch them. And that is a lot of them do sponsorships for BetterHelp, which if you don't know what BetterHelp is, it's an online therapy thing that you can do. A lot of them do sponsorships with AG1, if you don't know what that is. That's Athletic Greens is what it is. I'm sure if you just poke around, you can figure out that it. And then they do VPNs, and VPNs are, but they all BetterHelp and AG1. And they are all talking about therapy and meditation and being present. And a lot of them talk about an attitude of gratitude. And I don't know what that sounds like to you, but to me, that sounds like maybe Christian talk. And it's like, but you never hear them mention God or Jesus or any kind of higher power. It's just meditation, and I don't know. And so, for whatever reason, I have felt like I've needed to pray for these people. So I have begun to intentionally pray for these people that I've never met, that have way more YouTube followers than I probably ever will, I mean, and they're not overly on their phones. They're very, they read books. They're very slow, or a lot of them are. I won't see all of them are, but some of them are very slow. Um, and they do stuff very intentionally, and I appreciate that. And others of them are very quick. They do stuff very, um, but yeah. And I have just felt the need to start praying for them. So I have, and then what I've been praying for them is I've been praying that God will show up and show up for them. That He will do something unpredictable. That He will invade their life. That He will change the atmosphere of their lives, and that He will basically show up and show them what BetterHelp isn't showing them. Um, and that's been an interesting journey because I didn't know that I would ever be praying for just random people who I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm not envious of the followers I have, because that would be disingenuous of me, because I am, and you know it's a fact. And I'm like, when I'm talking to God, I'm like, hey, how I feel about these people, but I feel like I need to pray for them, so I'm going to pray for them, and so I have. And then the last thing I want to talk about today is just what I feel like I have went through over the past 2 weeks. So, if I don't know how many of you know, but over the past, like, 2 weeks ago, we got um our foster son's half brother for a week and a half, and for me, it was highly stressful. And I had this inkling about stuff going in. And that inkling, I asked God, I'm like, hey, if you need me to change this, or if I need to be changed on this, then you're the one that has to move me. I can't do it on my own. And it's odd because I started the journey in one place, then He moved me to another place, and then I came back to the place where I started. And it's just it was very um, eye opening, and it was a thing that we had to go through. But ultimately, my feeling is that he just doesn't belong here. And I try to be self-aware in that because that's a lot of what people miss. A lot of people miss self-awareness. Like I've said before, and I'll continue to say it, is I believe there are 5 things that hold people back from who they're supposed to be. Of course, it all revolves around Jesus. But it's number one is convenience. How many people won't make the trip to a church because it's an extra 5, 10, 15 minutes away? I don't know. Control, obviously, is a big one. Comfort. We love comfort. I mean, Americans love comfort. People in general love comfort. Sorry. Something in my nose. And then safety. Whether we think something is safe, whether we think an environment is safe, and then how it looks to other people. We're overly worried about what other people think. And a lot of that stuff, comfort, convenience, control, safety, perception, it's all very hard to shake. But once again, you have to be intentional about all of that. And a lot of us miss that. And I just took temperature of where I was when this half brother left, and I was just very real with God, and I told him exactly how I felt. And I'm just on the place where it's like he just doesn't fit. And I'm grateful that we took the time to fully figure it out, and we weren't afraid to not take him because it was inconvenient, because it was uncomfortable. Because believe me, there was a lot of time that I was like, no. But that's when you have to. You can think about your expectations, but you know what you're capable of doing for 10 days. I remember when I was in the Navy, the guy I worked for at the time, he said, he was talking about 3 months. You could do that standing on your head. You can do whatever standing on your head. And it's like, unless you've been in the Navy, unless you've been in military service, you don't know what you're capable of. But me having been in the military for 4 years, that just melts away a lot of your discomfort. And I don't think, I'm not necessarily recommending that everybody should go in the military, but sometimes that's what you need. Is we're just so afraid of uncomfort. We're just so afraid of inconvenience. And it's like, have you ever thought about what the founders of this country, how uncomfortable, inconvenient, how out of control all of that was? How not safe it was? When they came over to the Mayflower and they're having to make friends with the Indians, and I mean, we have it so good now. And, because we don't read history, because we don't ever think about the way generations did stuff before, we're just all on TikTok, and our attention span is this big. Just have a little self-awareness and just look around and just be present and just be real with God and ask him what it is he wants you to do. And then if he doesn't answer, don't assume that's because he said no. Just wait and pray, and then wait some more and pray some more, and then wait some more and and wait for him. But do not give up on what he's told you. Cling to the promise. Cling to cling to whatever it is that you feel he said, and say, God, I feel this way, but I know you said this, so I'm not going anywhere. Because there will be a lot of times when you want to give up, when you want to give in. Be intentional and keep going. Anyway, if you have any questions, leave me a comment, Current. Like and subscribe to the video. Like and subscribe to the channel. That'd be great. Thank all of you so much for being here. Appreciate all of you. God bless. I'll see you later. Bye.